Today we are going to talk about editing essays. I will go over a few tips about how to edit your essay before turning it in for me to grade. For starters, I want to remind you that although you are in high school, you will still make mistakes, and it's much better to turn in a paper that you've proofread and edited. A few things you need to keep in mind are that you need to be able to identify your audience. It is very important to address the correct audience for your paper to make the most sense to those reading it. You also need to make sure your points are strong. You have to believe yourself and be confident in your writing. You also need to make sure that what you say is valid. Have proof to back you up. If your main points are strong, then you will definitely get your points off. To start off, make a checklist of what to look for. By doing this, there is no reason that you should forget to check for things like spelling, grammar, and punctuation. Keeping up with the checklist will help you remember where you last left off and will also make it much easier for you to edit your essay. The easiest way to edit your paper is to look for problems one at a time. For example, read your essay once looking for grammar mistakes, then read it again for punctuation. Simple contractions like your, theirs, and its are very easy to look over, but if you just look for contraction mistakes, they'll be much easier to find. If you're writing a research paper, it is very important to make sure that your citations are correct. You must make sure that you have citations for every source you use in their information. By having these, you will avoid the chances of plagiarism. Also, you should make sure that your sources are reliable. For example, the New York Post is much more reliable than Wikipedia. Although it's much easier to copy and paste Wiki's information, your reader will believe the New York Post words over that of a Wiki. Another tip to make editing easier is to read it out loud. Whether it's to yourself or a fellow student reading your essay to you, it helps to hear your words and catch mistakes when read out loud. And by doing this, you will be able to check wording and awkward phrases that just get in the way of your writing. It is also helpful for some people to read your essays backwards. And finally, have someone else read your essay. A fresh set of eyes can find mistakes that yours can't. After reading the same essay over and over, you start to miss what you're looking for, and when someone who has yet to read it does, they can find mistakes that you will more than likely miss. It is much more beneficial to yourself to have many different people read and proofread your essay. The more eyes look at it, the better the outcome will be. That's all for this lesson. I would suggest or require you to do all of these things before turning in your essays for me to grade. Just remember, the more help you have and the more confident you are in your writing, the better off you will be.